going on, y'all? I want to check out this video from Ryan Upchurch, see what's going down in these streets. You know I rock with Upchurch, he's a real one. Don't forget to hit the like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't, and drop some comments. All right, let's get into it.
You know how our school systems in America have been quite questionable lately? Teachers doing weird shit. They're teaching different stuff, different rules. Hell, the playgrounds ain't even the same, right? Sure.
It's crazy how I didn't even know what he was about to speak about, but we were literally just talking about that during the live stream. How schools are changing and the rules are different. That's a wild coincidence. You want to check me out live streaming? Check me out on Kick. That's why I'll be live streaming for a while. I might start streaming on YouTube again eventually, but I want to focus on Kick for a while.
Our school systems are poisoned, I guess. But that's the only time people started saying we're being programmed. Answer me this. How come you didn't say that about the program before?
Damn.
We're only saying we're being programmed, or our kids are being programmed through the school programs because of the changes that are being made. Really think about this. Why would that happen? Why would they do this? First off, let's establish who they is.
Okay.
They is anybody who has outside interest, foreign interest, non-majority ideologies, and they have used the school system to notch it down a little bit and a little bit and a little bit over a lot of years.
I have seen agendas getting pushed within the school systems. I'm not going to front. I've 100% seen that, and it's weird as hell. Like, I don't get why, but it's very disgusting at times when these agendas are getting pushed on these children, and it has nothing to do with them learning for the betterment of their life. It's wild as hell. That's why if I have a kid, I'm probably going to homeschool them.
Some of them started doing this, and they weren't even going to see the outcome. You got to think, these people, the way their brain work, us Americans want everything instant. These motherfuckers are willing to move a grain of salt for hundreds of years, for in 100 years, their mountain to be made out of salt. And before you say, oh, you're just saying the same shit everybody else does, give me a minute. I'm going to explain it to you in a different way. Look at the playgrounds at these schools. How are they different from people who are around the age 35 to 40? How are they different? Well, we had tall ass jungle gyms made out of bolts and metal pipes. They were like 60 foot tall. If you fell, you fell. Tough. They don't have those no more. How come we can't find anybody hardly our age that's scared of heights? But if you go in the demographic of these kids that don't have these tall ass jungle gyms, a lot of them scared of heights. Now let's focus just on this jungle.
I gotta add there that I'm terrified of heights. And I was really thinking about that the other day. I was trying to figure out, when did I start becoming afraid of heights so much? Like when I was a kid, I don't think I was afraid of heights. Something must have happened that like got erased from my memory, that maybe it was probably something when I was skateboarding back when I was a teenager. I probably fell and was like, yeah, nah, never want to fall again. Something must have happened. I just can't remember. Maybe I hit my head, but I'm terrified of heights, bro. I tried to go on a zip line. Couldn't do it. And it was my idea. I was like, yeah, man, this would be fun. Like, I'm Batman. Once I got up there, I was like, okay, this is higher than what I thought. Let me not really do this.
Jungle gym for a second. When you go to, which ROTC is also in schools when you get in high school, what are you doing? You're climbing.
I remember that.
One of the main things you gotta do is grab the rope, climb over it, be able to climb over it. If you've been climbing this jungle gym, well, you're not gonna be scared of heights. Your agility's gonna be better. Your physicality's gonna be better. Not only that, which is a good thing, but they were literally tricking us and saying, hey, you wanna go have recess? And then after recess, you went and had PE. You had PE twice. So you went to school, You went outside, you got dirty, you flirted with girls, you beat up each other, you played smear the, you got hurt, which made you tough. Your activity was higher. So by the time you got home, you were tired as well as your parents were tired from being at work all day. Perfect system, right? We didn't have problems with school lunches, really. None of that stuff. If you're taking away the simple thing that is the jungle gym, in 20 years now, it would have had, which it did, affect people. Look at these motherfuckers. They're not tough. They're scared of heights. They don't want to do nothing hard. They don't want to sweat. They don't want to talk to somebody else. Zero tolerance is the worst thing that could have happened. Oh, you got in a fight. You're expelled from school for a week. You got to go home. No, don't expel them. Make them sit in ISS with each other and talk to each other the whole time they're in there. Why are schools in debt?
When I was in school, I was getting expelled like crazy, especially in high school. Like, yo, it was wild for fights, mostly fights. Yeah, it was fights. And poor attendance, too. I would just get up and walk out of class. If I got sick of the teacher, I'm like, I'm out. Y'all don't want me in here causing a mess, right? So let me just exclude myself or go do something with my time. But then there were teachers that really were like cool with me. So I would just go into another classroom and they wouldn't mind as long as I ain't causing no trouble. I'm like, oh, y'all watching a movie today? Let me come up in here, man. I ain't mess with it. But we're getting into a lot of fisticuff out here scrapping. I was getting expelled back to back, bro. I got sent to alternative school and then got kicked out of alternative school for fighting too much. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I thought this is where all the fighters came.
For feeding kids that can't afford lunch. Why is any kid at all having to pay for lunch? I would say, no, we're not getting rid of the agricultural program. We're going to beef the agricultural program up. Because we're going to make this agricultural program, we're going to get sponsors from nearby farms. We're going to get these farms audited, make sure they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and have these farms watched to make sure everything's good, right? Everything's, certified, whatever. We're going to get these cattle farmers and these crop owners to donate the food to feed the school and do something for taxes for them. All that zero tolerance bullshit. Do away with it. Don't send them home. They're going to be even more nefarious. They're going to steal their parents' vehicle. Their parents got to take off work. And then that company's got to have one less person that day. And then the parent loses money because their kid got in trouble. All of that. Get the agricultural program to be the new in-school suspension program. You're still on school grounds. You get in trouble. You want to fist fight with somebody. Both of y'all little are finna go out in the schoolyard and plant trees and plant bushes, and they're going to teach you landscaping. How about that? Then what? Then after 10, 15 years of doing that, well, the school don't need landscaping no more.
That'd be nice. Shoot, they could even do like how they do in Asia. Throw some martial arts classes in there. Start teaching these kids how to like control their anger and whatnot. And they might even just accomplish some nice sports type stuff with martial arts. That'd be dope, like a boxing program, or like I knew someone that went to a school that had a judo program. I thought that was cool as hell. They got instead of signing a waiver to watch the Diary of Anne Frank, why don't you just sign a waiver for the government to buy lawn care equipment for the school? So when kids get in trouble, if their parents sign the waiver, they can be taught how to ride a zero turn and mess with a weed eater and cut the grass. Then all the kids that get in trouble finally realize, like, yo, look at all these trees and all this we did together, even though we all got here by getting in trouble with each other. And now look what we did. That boosts the sense of social awareness with each other. It boosts the sense of community and literally stands behind the term or the phrase, teamwork make the dream work. The school looks good. Makes sense.
And kids getting in trouble will be such at an all-time low, you probably wouldn't even have alternative schools anymore. So then your county could save all this money from sending all these kids to an alternative school, hiring extra teachers, needing an extra building, needing extra lunches. There's too much unnecessary debt everywhere. And the only way we got like this was another getting in a position that don't like our country, that wanted to weaken us, period. All right, now you ready for this? All this stuff we just said about ISS and the school lunches and agricultural program and all that, it led up to a high school where everybody knows everybody actually. Everybody respects everybody actually. Everybody has some sense of loyalty for everybody actually. Okay, well, don't you think school violence would go down, like shootings? And if the kids were doing all that and they knew the school so well, planted these trees, did all this, they know where everything's at, they're aware. A shooter would probably not do too good if they cared about the school, they made the school what it was, and they could take pride in that and knew the ins and outs of it, right? Okay, now watch this. Everybody's about my age, 35, 40 years old. What is the main thing, kindergarten through fourth grade, they had us doing? The teacher's job wasn't read from a pamphlet and give us some kind of math that don't make any sense so we can't build a house in the future. No, they were given simple things and they were just there to explain it to you. And these teachers were cognitive enough and felt normal and went home to normal lives to where that's all they wanted to do. They wanted to help kids understand stuff, right? Okay. We're also matching things, and we're also told to notice things that don't make sense back then. If we started there and did all the stuff I just talked about, do you realize how amazing this country would be again? It would be, that's what's going on right now. Now, what will some people say because I just said all this? Oh man, he's falling off deep end of it. They don't bother me. It shouldn't bother anybody. It shouldn't bother, even if you love me to death. They're deranged, man. There's something wrong with them. And that's okay. But we got to make them realize something's wrong with them.
Bunch of crazies out here that just want to make it seem as if Upchurch is crazy. That's true.
Because I'm telling you right now, between Fauci, between RFK doing what he's doing, bro, we're about to be a really, really well-oiled country again. Everything's going to make sense again. And after this happens, they'll make you realize the program you were programmed by last time, the one I was programmed by, and anybody around my age was programmed by, was a program to fucking better your life for the obstacles you were going to come across eventually. They were preparing communities to live up to the definition community and stand next to each other and be on the same page when something weird rolled into town. Maybe like something that ain't got a damn real birth certificate. Something that is like trying to get all these foreign people to chant death to America in the street. We were programmed by the good guys, dude. They programmed us to stand next to each other and be like, hey, that's the enemy right there. See, why is it 90% of us out here can't identify the enemy? Hell, half of them think the enemy's the good guy and they're taking up for it. That's because it's been 30, 40 years of up the program that had nothing wrong with it in the first place. And I know to some people this is a touchy subject. To me, there's no such thing as a touchy subject. It's all just that needs to be aired out. And I know there's people that I love that are going to disagree with what I say. That's fine. It's America. You're allowed to. What the Trump administration is doing right now is the most genius thing that has ever been done. He is going to go down as the most genius president of all time. The guy that knew what to do to put people in certain places to unfuck this the fastest it could ever be unfucked. Not only is he going to unfuck it, he's going to reinforce it to where it could never be with again. There are things that have been done to us in the past 5 years, just 5, that are invisible that the majority of people, even people that are into politics and all stuff like I am now, like one of my buddies, there's been invisible things done that nobody's really talking about. Why is it so important to secure these tech companies and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? Why is it important to have your metadata secured? Because somebody that's very notable, I'm not saying who, said, look, they're out. This group of people is out for people that support the president and what he's saying. And they're helping him back up what he's saying, because what he's saying is true. And they don't want it coming out. So what do? All of us Americans that have huge followings that were on the same, that still are on the same page and can understand what the administration, what President Trump and everybody's doing. We were targeted, but not by a bullet. We were targeted by, oh, he's canceled, causing a commotion, making the celebrity worry about being canceled. That. And in the process, they were taking their metadata and identifying what their algorithm was, and then swapping their algorithm to the opposite kind of person. So when they did post something good about the administration, about Trump, well, all of a sudden they started getting attacked by all these random people that never were in their algorithm. So what does that do to the celebrity that has this huge following that agrees with all this American national, is on the same page? What does that do to them?
Like make them think that they shouldn't talk about positive stuff involving Trump, and that they should maybe do the opposite or something like that. That happens a lot on social media. A lot of it be like bots too. Nasty work for sure. But yeah, that's definitely true.
It makes them stop and like, wait, what? And they start questioning themselves. They start questioning what they believe in.
Yeah.
And then they start eventually tiptoeing and saying the opposite of what they've been saying the whole time. Making them look, well, they look unstabilized. They look like they don't know what they believe in. They look lost. More than half of them did get lost. The ones like myself that were raised by the correct program that my age group grew up on, was like, no, you ain't tricking me. Now, also, what does that mean? That means the program that we were raised up on, my age group, 30 years ago, was so genius and so effective in a good way that even through all this, the internet, all these psychological operations, if that's what you want to call them, look at everybody it affected. It still didn't affect all of us because it was designed to be bulletproof. And I promise you, you can screen record this. Please do. I promise you, if you knew the end game and you knew what happens at the end of all this, and you could see how our country is after all this happens, you would be thanking Trump right now. And you'd be like, man, I didn't see what you were doing, but that's smart. And we appreciate it. But
I have been seeing a lot of people that were like anti-MAGA, I guess you could say, anti-Trump. A lot of them switching now and doing like a whole apology videos, how like they were wrong, how they wish they could rewind time and all this extraness. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff. I think that's hilarious to me. Like that's wild. That's why I see that if you had a more open mind in the first place.
Because it fixed every compartmentalized of our society for the greater good of everyone who is a legal born citizen. Screen record it, mother. Come back in 10 years, you can pat me on the back. Now, if you look back through my career and you see all these conflicts I have with people, look at the conflict. Look what it's about. Most of them are about cultural reasons. What is our president saying? We must preserve culture. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to these artists just to talk to them. I was talking to them because what they were doing. Luke Combs. Luke Combs comes down, and look, this is just for reference, and it's true. Luke Combs, hey brother, want to do a song? Yeah, come on. We'll make something viral. Promise. We did. Luke Combs was around his culture. He had fun while he was there. We all had a great time, right? Was he having a great time when they convinced him to get on the internet and be like, "Oh, sorry, I make a boo boo. I never do it again. Oh, rebel flag so bad."
Yeah.
No. That was a little tiny piece
That was wild.
of shaming American culture. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what it was. Why the fuck are they doing it? So when he sings, "Can I get an outlaw?" or "We don't need another pretty boy singing pretty songs, fake country boys doing country all wrong. We need another Haggard, another Johnny Cash. I need a preacher. I need a savior. How about y'all? Can I get an outlaw?" I mean, I guess they can, but it's not going to be you. It ended up being me.
Shout outs to Upchurch, man. He's a real one. He notices a lot of things that just don't seem right out here. It's crazy. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button and the hype button and watch more videos. And if you want to watch me live stream, go to my Kick. That's Internet Exposed Gaming, I believe.